Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Baseball Now podcast. I'm your host, Mason Braggins, as always. Once again, this week, Stephen was unavailable to record. He had some stuff with Rockies Now to deal with this week. It is kind of, if you haven't, I don't know if he spread any news about it as the time of this recording, so I'm not going to say anything about what he was doing this morning with Rockies Now. But that should be announced over on the Rockies Now social pages and probably on the podcast within the coming week or weeks. So that's why Steven was unavailable today. So it's just me once again this week. As always, we're going to take a look at the power rankings. As you can see by the text right here, we're going to cover Rivalry Weekend. I totally forgot last week that was happening. So when I went to, it's like, oh, let's see, the weekend series was happening. I was like, oh, we got to watch the Subway series, the Freeway series. It's because those were actually happening because it's Rivalry Weekend. So that's my bad. But we're going to cover that today, as well as the power rankings, as always. So we're just going to jump right into the power rankings, start at the bottom. Pirates in number 10. Now, I think this is odd. I'm gonna kind of talk about them together as it pertains to kind of what happened over the last week or so, because take a look at the Philadelphia series. We can go to here. Yeah, the Phillies swept the Pirates in 3 games. 11-9, 6-0, and then 6-0. So 2 straight shutouts in the last 2 games, the Phillies against the Pirates. So a lot of people are complaining on Instagram that the Phillies are not in the top 10 after this week. Now, the Phillies, after that sweep, improved to 24 and 23. So they are finally up with a winning record in the National League East as the Pirates drop to 24 and 23. So the same record after that sweep. Now, I think honestly that's kind of a valid complaint. I think we're going to see the Pirates kind of fall off a little bit. Yes, Paul Skeens did give up 5 runs in that game through 5 innings. Um, so not his best performance, but a big sweep, and I think a much needed boost for the Phillies in that series. So I would agree with most of the people on Instagram. I'm a little confused as to why the Pirates are still number 10 after getting swept by the Phillies. Number 9, though, is the Guardians. The Guardians played the Reds in the battle for Ohio. Reds took game 1, but then the Guardians took the last 2. The third game being a blowout, 10-3 in favor of the Guardians. I think 9 is an appropriate spot for this week. I don't think that there is anything wrong with that. If we take a look at where the Guardians are still sitting in first place of their division, 26 and 22. So I don't think too much needs to be said about that, I guess. It is odd, though, that there aren't other teams with better records occupying that 9 spot, or maybe teams who have kind of blown up lately who aren't up there, but I think Guardians still in the top 10, I think, is an appropriate spot. Again, going 2-1 against the Guardians over Rivalry Weekend. And then in 8th place are the Cardinals. Cardinals have had quite the surprising stretch of games. They won their Rivalry Weekend series against Kansas City 2-1. They only lost that last game yesterday. It was a shutout 2-0 in favor of the Royals. And then it looks like the Cardinals are sitting right in the middle of the pack of the NL Central, 27-19. They have definitely kept it going over the past couple weeks. They are +3 in run differential. They're 6-4 over their last 10, so not a great stretch by any means, but they are staying afloat for the most part. And it is very, very fun to watch this Cardinals team play. I will say that. They've got a lot of great guys, a lot of young guys who are putting together good bats. And I mean, again, I think I talked about this last week because the Cardinals were also in the power rankings. But Jordan Walker just absolutely raking for this team right now. He has 13 homers on the season with a 301 batting average and a 3.0 WAR. So Jordan Walker is absolutely insane right now. And I mean, their pitcher, Michael McGreevy, 2.10 ERA as a starter. Incredible. He has 9 quality starts. He has a 3-2 record, unfortunately, but he's only given up 12 runs, 6 homers. So very impressive from Michael Greavy, this team. And I mean, the the defense as well, also great. I mean, there aren't too many negative numbers. There aren't any overwhelmingly positive numbers, but I think that is a good thing. Um, the team kind of just playing solid defense, but Weatherholt with almost a 1 defensive WAR, so um, very good for this team, I will say. And the team average fielding percentage is literally just below 1. So there's not really too much opportunity there. They only have a combined 21 errors on the season. I don't think that's too incredibly high, but this team defensively is just as good as they are offensively, the Cardinals. Number 7 are the Padres. The Padres, if we take a look, they played Seattle over Rivalry Weekend. I think one of the stranger ones, yes, it is called the Vetter Cup. Like, it does have a name. But the Padres did sweep that series. I think it's a little shocking to see them in the 7th position. I would almost put them maybe number 5, but definitely number 6. I mean, yes, if you look over the past week, the Padres are only 6-4, and the team right above them are 8-2 across their last 10. But the Padres are only half game back behind the Dodgers, out of first place in the NL West right now with a +7 run differential. The Padres have definitely been getting it done as of late. I think they are looking like a scary team again. A team that I definitely don't want to be facing too often as a Dodgers fan. I hate seeing these guys. Um, Hate seeing them win. I would much prefer them to lose. But I mean, this team is just playing not too well. But one thing that did happen over Rivalry Weekend, and this is my favorite thing, Rodolfo Duran, who has spent 11 years in a minor league system. I don't know if he spent all 11 years in the Padres minor league system, but the Padres called him up, I think, yesterday or 2 days ago, and for his MLB debut at 28 years old after spending 11 years in the minors. His first at bat, he hits a home run. So he has 1 home run in the season. He almost hit 2. He almost had a 2 home run game in his MLB debut. It was robbed in the outfield. One who doesn't have any home runs this season, Tatis Jr. We love to see that as a Dodgers fan. I'm sorry to any Padres fans who are listening. I hate your team with a burning passion. I'm sure as you hate my team with a burning passion. But any opportunity I can to mock your players, I will do so. I will do so. Yeah, but I just think it's really ironic that this player that they called up literally just a couple days ago, or a few days ago, I'm not entirely sure, hit a home run in his MLB debut, more homers than Tatis Jr. on the season. Kind of funny, if you ask me. I think that's actually his only hit on the season, so a little bit ironic too. But I mean, the Padres overall, and their bats are great. Their pitching is great as well. I mean, their starters King and Vasquez both under 3 ERAs. They're 2 big starters, but Walker Buehler and Armand Marquez above 5 ERAs. Honestly, I hate to say it, as a Walker Buehler and Armand Marquez fans, both Buehler former Dodger, Marquez former Rocky, you hate to see pitchers you're a fan of losing. You know what I mean? But I like it when the Padres lose, so I'm not too entirely upset. But still, Mason Miller, the best reliever in the league, has a below 1 ERA through 21 innings pitched. He has only given up 2 runs, 10 hits, striking out 44. That man is insane. He's incredible. Uh, Yeah, I think it was in the offseason. I think we talked about this in our discussion of the offseason activity. I think this is a brilliant move for the Padres. After getting rid of Tanner Scott in the 2024 season, they definitely needed a guy who would come in and shut it down. Mason Miller is that guy. He has been getting it done for this Padres team. Again, swept the Mariners um, in rivalry weekend, but I don't think the 7th spot is fair for them. I definitely think they need a higher spot in the power rankings with how they played over rivalry weekend. But the spot above them, the Brewers, are in the number 6 spot. The Brewers over rivalry weekend played the Twins, and the Brewers won this series 2-1 in very low scoring games. I think if we kind of look at the Brewers, they're sitting in second place right now in the NL Central, 26-18 currently. I mean, if we take a look at the Brewers, I mean, they really haven't had too many like blow away games. I think outside the first game of the season against the White Sox where they scored 14 runs. They had a game against Detroit where they scored 12. The series against Arizona that they played, they scored 13 runs in 2 of those games. But I think, they're playing obviously very competitive games, very obviously, but I don't think they're really making like a big impact in terms of runs across the board. Yes, they have a plus 61 run differential right now, but they only have 218 runs scored. That's 30 less than the Dodgers. That's 32 less than the Braves right now. So I mean, not the most runs in MLB by far, and I think it kind of just speaks to um, kind of this team just grinding it out again, looking like another winning team. Team batting average 244 right now. William Contreras and Bryce Terang leading the way there, with Jake Bowers as well, who plays first base for the team. Their pitching is pretty solid. Mizorowski with a 2.12, Chad Patrick a 2.75, Kyle Harrison a 2.09, and then Woodruff I think kind of starting to lock it in, has a 3.6, but then Sproat I think their weakest link 5.75 right now. But this team is definitely doing a great job, and we look at the guy who has the most saves for the team. It's Trevor McGill. Yes, he has a 5.63 ERA, but 5 saves, 5 holds as well. The only relief pitcher has below 2 ERA. Sorry, they have 3 pitchers below. Nope, math is hard. I'm sorry. Um, 2 pitchers have just above 1.5 ERA. DL Hall and Brian Fitzpatrick, and then 2 of their relief pitchers who have pitched 2.1 and 2 innings respectively have 0 ERAs. In 4 total hits combined, those are Jared Koenig and Easton McGee. But this team is great. And then, I mean, defensively, they're not the most defensively accurate team. Most of their team has just 0 D wars, and a handful of players have negative D wars right now. The team average fielding percentage is 9.87 with 20 errors on the season. So, I mean, you really look at it, and there's not really too much that kind of like shows that the Brewers are like this big dominant powerhouse. Yes, they're winning games. Yes, we can put them in 6th place in the power rankings. They're second NL Central currently, but they're not really like a scary powerhouse, I think we would say. Just looking at the pure stats, I think what is the scariest part is how effective they are at just getting through innings, defensively, offensively, whatever it is, and just being clutch. I think is where a lot of their wins are coming from. I mean, this series against the Twins, 3-2 and 2-1 were their only victories this series. A game against the Padres, 6-4, another competitive. Outside of the shutout against the Yankees last week, 6-0, the next 2 games were 4-3, both of which they won. So this team, I think, plays very competitively. They stay in close games more often than not, is what we're seeing from the Brewers. In 5th place is the Yankees in the power rankings. Now, obviously, played the Mets over the season. That's the the Subway Series, wrong way. And oh my gosh, yesterday, I cannot believe that the Mets walked it off against the Yankees after the Yankees were leading 6. What is it? It was tied 6-6 in the 9th inning. Um, yeah, kind of crazy that it it fell apart for the Yankees in that ninth inning. Yes, they actually lost this series. The Mets won the last two games after Yankees won 5-2 in that first game. I love seeing the Yankees lose, but a little bit shocking from what seems to be like a characteristically, or at least what we thought was going to be a characteristically strong team. Uh, the loss on the series drops them to 28-19. If they had won it, they would have 31 wins on the season. Sorry, just 30 wins on the season. My apologies. Um, they are 3-7 across their last 10. So potential frauds, we don't know. The Yankees might already be losing it this early into the season, but that remains to be seen. They are still a very solid team. It looks like. I mean, if we look at the Yankees stats here, um, yeah, just a brutal stretch of 10 games. Played the Brewers, which they got swept in that. But I talked about, we're gonna talk about the top teams every single week here on this podcast, and the Yankees are still one of those teams. Their bats are still hot. Judge 266, Bellinger 265. Chisholm seems to be getting his act together. He's batting 230 now. Ben Rice 301, Caballero 259, Stanton 256. I don't think Stanton has played in a bit. He's out with an injury right now. But Grisham and McMahon, Wells not hitting all too well. I think Anthony Volpe started the season potentially on the IL, or maybe Jose Caballero has just been getting more playing time than he is. But Volpe has a 222 through only 4 games played. Yankees pitching, I think, it's incredible. Their pitching is right now. Unfortunately, Max Fried got knocked out with an injury last week, some point, I believe. So he's going to be out for quite a while. He seems quite lonely just sitting in the bullpen. He wants to play. He wants to play very badly. But before going out across his 10 games, 4-3 with 6 quality starts, 3.21 ERA for Fried, with only 22 runs given up. But Cam Schlittler is one of the best starting pitchers in the league right now. 1.35 ERA, 68 strikeouts, only given up 9 runs across 60 innings. This man is scary. Will Warren as well, 3.42, not as scary, but still up there. Ryan Weathers with a 3 ERA. Those are the 4 starters for this team. Luis Gil, I think, coming back, I want to say from an injury. I'm not sure. But through his first 4 starts, not doing too hot, 6.05. Carlos Rendon, through 2 starts. He also came back off of the IL a couple weeks ago, 5.63 ERA. And then the relief pitchers are kind of all over the place, I would say. A couple pitchers below that 2 ERA mark, but quite a few above 2 ERA for those relief pitchers. But it's really just the offense that is just getting it done. They have 237 runs scored on the season. I believe that is looks like the 4th most in MLB right now. They got a plus 68 run differential. So really that offense bringing the boom, and more often than not, their starting pitchers, I think, really just making it possible for the team to take a big lead, and then the relief pitchers don't have to have as much stress loaded onto their backs because of that. In the 4th spot are the Rays. The Citrus Series wrapped up this weekend. Miami and Tampa Bay. Take a peek, look at that to get a good analysis of the Rays. Rays won that series 2-1. Some pretty competitive games, I think, outside of that first one. 7-2 victory Rays in the first one, but 10-5 victory Marlins. That second game, 3-6 Rays. The third game, this Rays team is, they're scary. I'll say that. They're currently in first place after the Yankees dropped 2 to the Mets. 30-15 for the Rays right now. I think the Rays are a serious playoff contender. I mean, you have Junior Caminero, 256, Chandler Simpson, 297, Yandy Diaz, 295, having himself a breakout season. I swear, that man, I think, had definitely gone quiet for a couple years. Yandy Diaz batting almost 300 on the season right now. Incredible to see that man come back playing hard. Their pitchers as well. I mean, they're starting Nick Martinez and Shea McClanahan through 9 and 8 starts respectively. Incredible. Um, yeah, it's they have 1.5, 1.51, 2.27 ERA respectively through both over or almost 40 plus innings. McClanahan missed one start, I think, because he started the season on the IL, I believe is what happened. But I mean, these teams are just, yeah, the pitchers are great. The relief staff is okay. I would say nothing too outrageous. A lot of pitchers with above a 3, almost 4 ERA, and quite a few with 6 ERAs, 5 ERAs. Only a couple have below 3 ERAs. But this Rays team, we look at their run differential, they're plus 25 on the season right now. In terms of fielding, and we want to take a look at that, most of the team, 0 D war, a few people in that negative spot. I think it's difficult to get yourself up consistently into a positive D war score if you just aren't getting that many opportunities to make that happen. But defensively, this team is still very solid. Rays looking like a legitimate playoff team this season after a rough season last year. In third place are the Cubs, dropping almost out of the top 3 from last week. The Cubs and the White Sox playing a series, and I think this drop is very respectable because the White Sox beat the Cubs twice. Cubs blew out the White Sox in that first game 10-5, but then the White Sox came right back and had some very good games against the other side of Chicago team. Cubs are sitting at 29 and 18, still atop the first place in the NL Central right now. And I think there were many incredible things to praise about this team. Again, we talked about them last week. We'll be talking about them as long as they're in the top 10. But Horner, Bregman, PCA, Bush, Happ, Swanson, Suzuki, everybody is back. Well, Swanson is looking to hopefully start heating up. Their catcher, Carson Kelly, batting 300 on the season, it looks like. Yeah, their bats are just incredibly hot right now. They've been getting hot very recently. 57 homers on this season with 222 RBIs and a total of 241 total runs scored for this team. Their pitching staff, we take a look at that. Imanaga, 231 ERA. Cabrera, Italian, and Ray actually all have above 4 ERAs. So it's kind of just been the bullpen that has locked it down when games are getting away from those starting pitchers. Yeah, I mean, especially Matthew Boyd, who's only played 5 games, has a 6 ERA. Yes, he's a starter. Javier Assad, who has started 3 games, but he's played in 8, kind of in a relief role through 26 innings of 5.88. Cade Horton, who I believe came back from injury, 7.1 innings pitched in total with a 2.45 ERA. And then you have you have another starting pitcher who labeled on MLB, Vince Velasquez, but he's only pitched 2.1 innings, but has a 0 ERA. But their bullpen, for the most part, really good. I mean, you have Hobie Milner, a 2.08 ERA with 3 holds. You have David Palencia with 3 saves on the season, a 2 ERA. That's very good. Ben Brown with 1 save, 2 holds through 33 innings, 1.6 ERA. So the pitching is there for the Cubs as well as the offense. And I mean, we can't talk about the Cubs without talking about PCA's incredible D-WAR, 1.5 right now. That man, just he has. I just don't know what to say. I mean, because he's so good. I don't know how he does it. He just runs all across center field, covers the whole dang thing, and just makes it possible for the Cubs to get out of innings because of his incredible defensive capabilities. PCA getting it done on the defensive end for the Cubs, I think, really keeping them in games defensively because of that. And the 2 spot, and I think a very fair 2 spot, the Dodgers in number 2. They played the Angels, swept them over the weekend. I mean, say what you want, okay? Say what you want. It was like, oh, you played the Angels, not really, Blah, blah, blah. Not really. Yes, we blew them out in all three games. 6-0 the first game, 15-2, and then 10-1. They were all incredible games. And can we talk about Roki Sasaki's start yesterday? Man, um, Sasaki, if you're listening, I'm sorry for shaming you on this podcast earlier, giving you flame, telling you should go back to the bullpen. I stand corrected. 7 innings, pitched 4 hits, 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts, and no walks through 7 innings. No walks. Like that is insane. Ridiculous. Um, Sasaki, thank you for giving us this W. You are amazing. Thank you very, very, very much for getting us the win. And a big thank you to Shohei Ohtani for actually hitting the ball in yesterday's game. He went 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs scored. Good job, Shohei. Pages still getting the bat to light up. Kyle Tucker finding his rhythm finally. And still trying to get Mookie Betts work back in, some reps here and there. Still come back from injury and still splitting time with Rojas and Kim in the middle infield and Freeland. The Dodgers just suffer from too many good players. I'll say it, say it time and time again. There are just too many good players. I mean, in the second game, Mookie Betts started that one. He went 2 for 4. And then the game, just got away from the Angels. That was the 15-2 victory after a hilarious in the park home run for Shohei Ohtani in that game, I believe. Batted the ball into right field, bounced fair, hit the net. A lot of people online are pissed, but Angels cleared it, saying that it's fair game if the ball bounces and hit the net. It is a totally fair ball. It does not go out of play. So because of that, and I guess the Angels players not knowing that that was a rule in their own field, Shohei Ohtani has a Little League homer in that game. It was very funny, and seeing people complain about it online is even funnier. Like, guys, the Angels said, hey, we're extending the net here. And is it okay if the ball hits the net? Can it still be in play? And the league cleared it, said it was okay. Like that is a part of Angel Stadium right now. If you hit a ball into right field, and I think also left field, and it bounces fair, hits the net, fair game. You don't just advance to second, take as many bases as you can in that. So that was quite funny to see, and it's funny to hear people complain about that. Robleski had a solid inning, 6 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, and 1 walk in that game. And then the 6-0 shutout. That was who I think that was our bullpen game because Snell was supposed to start but has loose bodies in his elbow. I guess it's loose bodies season. Skubal has loose bodies. Diaz has loose bodies. Snell has loose bodies. I think there are numerous other pitchers who have loose bodies that I don't know about. But good job, bullpen, for a combined 2-hitter and a shutout game against the Angels in the first one. Incredible. And I love that for the entire series, the Dodgers wore their road blues very pretty. Sorry, I'm just rambling about all the great stuff that happened and not really talking about the Dodgers and how they actually played the game and how they've been doing. Dodgers are 6-4 across their last 10 on a win streak of 5 after some shaky offense, some shaky defense, or pitching at the very least over the last couple of games, losing this series to the Braves, which really we shouldn't have lost. Shouldn't have split the series with the Giants, but it is what it is. We start a series against the Padres tonight, so hoping for some big wins tonight. And across that series, the Dodgers, I mean, I can talk about how great this team is all day. Only one person on their team is batting below 200, and it's Mookie Betts, who was injured for the past month or so. He's only played in 13 games this season, but every single batter is above 200 for the Dodgers for a combined batting average of 264. I think the moment Mookie gets that above 200, the incredible. That's almost a team average of 300. So that's really good. And the pitching staff is phenomenal right now. Um, Outside of the rough stretch, the previous 10 games. I mean, Robo, dude, Justin Robleski, man, he's 6-1 right now. His one loss was in that series against the Braves. The game just kind of got away from the Dodgers. The offense was not there, but he has 5 quality starts on the season. Um, through 50.2 innings pitched. That's the most on the team. He's only given up 14 runs. Yes, he only has 27 strikeouts, but he gets the ball to be put in play, and he gets people to strike out, and he gets people out that way. 2.49. Yamamoto, hopefully he's locking it down soon. He has a 3.6 ERA. I want to see Yamamoto make a push for that Cy Young, but who is making a push for the Cy Young is Shohei, who is a .82 ERA, a .82 WHIP, by the way. Yeah, he's only given up 4 runs this season. Shohei has, with 2 home runs given up, 11 walks, 50 strikeouts. Shohei is looking like a serious Cy Young contender this season. Through his 7 starts, all of them have been quality starts, which is something not really heard of. He's played in 7 games. He started those 7 games and has a quality start in all 7 of those games. So incredible. In the bullpen, across the board, is finally getting it together. The bullpen is finally getting it together. I can see it happening before my eyes. Unfortunately, Dreyer just went down with an injury. Jack Dreyer did, but through his 20 appearances, 2.8 ERA. Will Klein, 2.45 ERA. Tanner Scott, 1.47. Henriquez, 3.71. Vesia, 2.76. Trinan, 3.68. Kyle Hurt, 0.75. Kyle freaking Hurt. What the heck? This guy's crazy. He's only given up 1 run this season. Incredible. And I mean, you have Brock Stewart, who, yes, he's only pitched 2 innings. One inning across 2 games. But boy, does that ZRA look nice. And a .5 whip just because of 1 walk. Dude. The bullpen for the Dodgers, very scary. And the defense is just as good too. I mean, Andy Paul has a 1.2 D WAR right now. Everybody else kind of in that 0 range or above 0 in some capacity. There are a couple players who do have below 0 D WARs, but that doesn't mean that they're not effective. The only thing just plaguing the Dodgers right now. I mean, oh golly. Man, I hate pulling up the injury list for the Dodgers. I don't think Bobby Miller is coming back anytime soon. I don't like that guy has not pitched in like 2 seasons, I feel, or at least not in the majors. Kike is still down with his elbow injury, but he is currently, I think, doing some minor league rehab currently. But I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of just let him work that up, be healthy, so that he can come back and be Mr. October once again. Gavin Stone still on the IL. I don't think he's going to play anytime soon. Phillips, same thing. Landon Knack, dealing with a chest injury on the 60-day IL. Tommy Edman, unfortunately, also on the 60-day IL with an ankle injury. This is funny. Edwin Diaz on the 60 IL because of his loose bodies. This is definitely just a typo, but it just says no underneath Edwin Diaz. So that's what's happening. Just no. Brock Stewart on the IL with a foot injury. Kasperius with a shoulder injury. Glass now on the IL with a back injury. Blake Snell, again, loose bodies. He'll be out for 2 months because of the surgery. Jack Dreyer just got placed on the IL yesterday. Left shoulder discomfort. Hopefully he comes back soon. We don't want him out for too long. He's a great pitcher. And then Gratterall, again, also a injury-prone pitcher. He's on the 60. He got transferred to the 60-day IL yesterday. So those injuries, mostly to pitchers, really suck. But we have a lot of people who are picking up the slack all across the board. But it's time to talk about that number 1 team, the Braves. Finally, that deserved number 1 spot. I mean, I'll say it. You know, it's like, yes, I hate to say it, but it is, in fact, deserved. winning the series against the Red Sox 2-1. Two close games in the first ones. Braves 3-2 in the first one, then the Red Sox 3-2 in the second one, then a blowout game for the Braves 8-1 in game 3. So the Braves do in fact, oh, sorry, win that series, improving to 32-15, the best team in the league right now because of that. If you just go by record, Red Sox falling to 19-27, one of the worst teams in the league right now. But boy, those Braves, I think finally getting that what is deserved. I think they definitely deserved it after last week. I will say that. I don't think they deserved whatever spot they had last week. I cannot remember. This team is insane. Their bats are hot. Their pitchers are hot. Just all across the board. Bryce Elder 2.01, Chris Sale 1.96, Grant Holmes 3.8, Martin Perez 2.25, Ronaldo Lopez 3.56. I mean, their starting pitchers are just bang, 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 like incredible. And their bullpen as well, very solid. Robert Suarez, that dude is scary. A .47 ERA. Very, very scary. You have and Rafael Iglesias, 8 saves, 0 ERA. He's given up no runs this season. Like what? What the heck? Some crazy magician work. Um, and defensively, the team is great too. Nothing really like to like scream about defensively, but the average D WAR is sitting around that 0 mark for the most part. But when we talk about their bats, Drake Baldwin 301, Ozzy Albies 275, Matt Olson 276, Austin Riley 220, Mar- Mauricio Dubon 245, Michael Harris II 293, Acuna 252, Yastrzemski 232, and then their DH Dominic Smith 3 freaking 44. What? That's crazy. Dominic Smith with 19 RBIs on the season, 46 total bases with a 3.344 batting average. Incredible. This team has the highest run differential in the game, almost 100. They've scored almost 100 more runs than their opponents in games. That is ridiculous. 98. 98 is what they're at right now. Like, oh my goodness. The only team remotely close to that is the Dodgers with the plus 94. So, like, man, I don't know what happened between the 2025 offseason and the start of this season, but the Braves just said, oh yeah, we're just really good at hitting the baseball now. And we're also really good at striking people out. I mean, their pitchers have a total combined strikeout count. Every pitcher who's pitched in any game for this team is what we're looking at. 409 strikeouts from their entire pitching staff with only 160 walks. Like, oh my goodness. What the heck? Crazy. They're crazy. Yeah. But that is it for power rankings. We're going to take a look at all the other matchups from Rivalry Weekend that we didn't cover. So starting with Baltimore Orioles and Washington, the Battle of Maryland, I guess, or whatever it's called. Baltimore, Maryland, and then DC, Maryland, of course. Or some people like to call it the Battle of Mid, because after this season, the Nationals, because they won this series, improved to it looks like 23-24, and the Orioles fall to 21-26. The Orioles early on were looking like they were going to be a solid team, and they've kind of disappeared in the limelight. Nationals are looking to kind of get even, be a solid competitive team. Maybe not, a playoff team, but they're looking to get competitive this season. The Orioles won the last game 7-3 against the Nationals. It was technically a safe situation, 7-3, like I said, but that second game a blowout by the Nationals, 13-3, and then 3-2 Nationals in the first game from the Nationals. I mean, overall, I think it was. Um, I would say it was a pretty competitive. Yeah, I would say it was a, pretty competitive series again outside of that middle game where the Nationals just pulled way out in front, 13-3. Um, yeah, 13 runs on 13 hits. Not every day you see that. Um, kind of funny. The Orioles starting pitcher gave up four of those, and then the bullpen, kind of just lost it, in that seventh inning, giving up 7 runs in the seventh inning against the Nationals. So I don't think there's anything too crazy to talk about with this one. Kind of battle with the mid. There was that one shocking game, and that was really it. Let's see who have we not talked about. Toronto and Detroit. This season the Blue Jays won it 2-1 after the series improving to 21 and 25. The Tigers fall to 20 and 27. Both very shocking records from both of these teams who played in the AL championship. No, sorry. They were within semifinals. Um, but yeah, just not a good day for or not a good season so far for both of those teams. Vladdy hit a homer yesterday, the only homer for Toronto in the game. The only homer of the game was from Vladdy yesterday. Um, the Tigers won the first game 3-2, then Blue Jays 2-1, Blue Jays 4-1. So all save scenarios, close competitive games. And I think it's very interesting to see that from both of these teams. The Blue Jays have a -11 run differential. Tigers have a -13 run differential on the season. So again, very shocking from both of these teams. We didn't talk about the Lone Star State battle, the Rangers and the Astros. The Astros won the series 2-1, shutting out the Rangers in the first game 2-0, then winning 4-1, and the Rangers shut out the Astros yesterday 8-0. It looks like, with a crazy home run robbery in that sweep yesterday out in right field, coming off of, it looks like, a hard hit ball off the bat of, oh, who was that? Alvarez, it looks like. Jordan Alvarez. Really hard hit ball flying out to right field, robbed at the wall by the right fielder. Nimmo was playing that game. He started there, and Nimmo had an RBI of his own that game. Nimmo's batting 267 on the season after that. Very, yeah, I mean, a competitive game outside of that last one. The starter, Eovaldi, went 7 innings again, gave up 0 runs, 8 strikeouts on 5 hits. And those were the only hits that the Astros got the entire game. The bullpen, after those 7, locked it down for those next 2 innings to get the dub for the Rangers. Arizona and Colorado. This is another one of those matchups that is kind of just like, oh, you're the leftovers. We'll match you up since you're in the same division kind of a thing, I think is what this is. But the Diamondbacks won the series 2-1. Rockies taking the middle game 4-2. The first game was largely uncompetitive, 9-1 Diamondbacks. Big blowout loss by the D-backs in that one. But the second game was very competitive. Again, also with the third game, an 8-6 victory for the Diamondbacks. The Rockies have been hitting well, despite the fact that they're 18-29. I think they're suffering some from the same problem again. I think I talked about this. It might have been off camera at some point, and maybe I've talked about it on the podcast here a couple times. But the Rockies just aren't clutch. I think that's kind of like the big thing. Consistently, what we're seeing is like the Rockies really only win games when they pull ahead in front big early, and the pitching staff kind of just keeps it there. I mean, it was that middle game that they won. It was 3-1 after the second inning, and then no runs were scored until the fifth, where the D-backs scored one. But Sugano made it through 5, only giving up those 2 runs on 7 hits from the D-backs. So Sugano was definitely clutch in that game. Sensatello with the save at the end in the ninth inning. The Rockies scoring one in the eighth, but it really only seems to be like when the Rockies take a sizable lead early, um, it tends to just be it tends to be a victory. But that first game, Merrill Kelly throwing his first career complete game, the 9-1 victory, 9 innings pitched, giving up 4 hits, the 1 run, and only 3 strikeouts through 9 innings, which I think is crazy. Like, how do you not strike out more batters when you pitch all 9 innings? Very shocking, but it is what it is. Merrill Kelly getting his first complete game uh, on Friday because of that. But yeah, it was a similar story in that 8-6 victory where D-backs took a 5-0 lead into the fourth. Rockies answered back with 2 runs of their own in the fourth, but the D-backs came right back, 2 in the fifth, 1 in the sixth. Rockies scored 4 in the eighth, hoping for that comeback it looked like, and then nothing happened in the ninth. Yeah, I think just consistently throughout the season and last season, the Rockies are just, they have opportunities to be clutch. Sometimes they capitalize them, but more often than not, it's just never really goes their way. Unfortunately. And then the last series we have to talk about here, the Giants and Athletics. Giants won the Battle of the Bay. Rest in peace that officially, since A's are moving away. They won it 2-1 away. They lost the first game 5-2, but then won 6-4, and then a blowout game yesterday, 10-1. Jeffrey Springs getting the loss. Now, he only gave up 1 run through 5 innings. 1 earned run, sorry. He had 1 walk, and it looks like that walk came into score in either the third or the fourth. So technically given up 2, but one of those unearned because of the walk, so he gets the loss there. The singular run from the Athletics coming off of a RBI hit from Cortez. It was a RBI double, and Hernandez scored because of that. The only run, again, from the Athletics yesterday. I think we saw a little bit more of the classic Athletics in yesterday's game, getting blown out, but they're still sitting above the AL West, 23-23, perfectly even. Giants improved to 20-27 after the 2-1 series victory, so still worse than the Athletics. But the Athletics team, I think we talked about them last week since they were actually in last week's power rankings. I think at that 10 spot last week. They're looking like a solid team. Don't know if they're going to be a playoff team just because of how competitive all the other teams in the American League are. But you never know what could happen. We are still only in May. We haven't hit the All-Star break yet, but that is what that's what it's looking like after this week in Rivalry Weekend. So thank you everybody for watching, listening as always. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, whatever it is to help spread the word. We're going to take a quick look here. Look ahead to the week. This week we have some big matchups. 2 NL West matchups. Dodgers away at Petco Park to play the Padres. And then the Giants away to play the Diamondbacks. 2 big series there. See what happens with those. We have an NL Central battle for that top spot. The Brewers and the Cubs facing off this week. And then as we move into the weekend, we have the Rockies go and play the Diamondbacks again, but in Arizona this time. And then the Dodgers playing the Brewers. You have top battle for the AL East, the Rays and Yankees playing this upcoming weekend. So just a couple to look forward to. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all those things. Helps out a ton. If you are interested in helping out to run this podcast in any way, shape, or form, reach out to the Rockies Now page or Steven. He'll get you connected with me so I can find a spot for you to fit in a part of the Baseball Now team. We're looking for people to help put the podcast together every week in terms of like editing it together, getting it uploaded. We're looking for someone to run a social media pages. We don't have any of those right now. That is a big thing that we're missing. There's just no time for me and Steven to run it. So, would really appreciate it if you could help out in those ways. But with that out of the way, thank you again so much for watching, listening, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.